All right. Back at it.
On this May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
And with your spirit. Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, Season 2, Episode 11. Zoey's Extraordinary Double Date.
And it was indeed.
So we opened the scene in a support group. Zoey sits down, and it occurred to me, like, I thought it was like an open, like, you know, but no, they're all just in the waiting room.
It was the waiting room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
She sits down, she's like, so what are you in for? And it gets immediately shut down, which I'm like, oh, why would you ask that?
Sure, well, I wasn't sure what kind of group she was in yet.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that it's a waiting room, it's like, yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. But actually it brings up something that I hadn't really thought of at the time, but thinking back on it, she straight out asked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know, I think there's something there. Like, prior to her powers, she wouldn't have asked, she wouldn't have cared. But it's like she's becoming too empathetic.
She has a desire to know.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's something there.
Interesting. It's like a weird kind of a conversion story. I'm harkened back to the Futurama episode Obsoletely Fabulous, where, you know, Bender hates these new robots and he goes on this epic journey, right? And at the end of it, he's like, no, they're good people. I got to know this guy. These robots are good. And to come to find out, it all happened in an instant in his head as a way to convert him to be adaptable with these. So this whole journey is turning her into somebody who wants to know what other people are feeling, what's on their mind. Mm-hmm. And we saw it in the episode where her powers are malfunctioning. She really has a desire for it. She kind of relies on it. Which lends credence to the theory that she's still not empathetic. She still doesn't read people well.
Right.
It's all based on her power. I don't know, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So then they break into a musical number. Like, I get overwhelmed.
It felt like an original, honestly. Like,
really? Yeah, there was elements of it that seemed familiar to me.
Okay.
But, you know, talking about anxiety. So, you know, a lot of people are there for anxiety. Can relate.
Which, probably a lot of issues that require therapists are anxiety-based. So, if not all in some fashion.
Yeah. So she gets in with her therapist and she describes her issue in detail, but then gets into anxiety about her life, her work, her relationships, her TV shows, etc. Discusses that the power led to her breakup with Max. So the therapist tells her to focus on what she can control, and she said, Simon, I can be a better girlfriend. So she brings Simon a donut, and she goes to kiss him in the office, and he backs off. He's like, oh, we shouldn't do this here, as he wants to keep it on the DL.
He's like, you are still my boss.
Yeah. And he's got all this, diversity council stuff that he's doing. But then when she's talking to him, he was, like, leaning in and everything. So I got some mixed signals.
I missed the lean in. I was probably typing away.
Yeah. So she's like, gonna make this whole weekend about you and what we want to do. Whatever you want to do, let's just do it. Then on the Spark Point side, she decided on the drone phone over the megaphone and the microphone, which was a new thing we hadn't heard of before. and it was Leaf's project. And I gotta say, Leaf is growing on me.
Yes.
He honestly, like, he was really annoying
First season.
But I also saw his potential in the first season.
If he could get his ambition under control.
Yeah.
Which he seemed to a certain degree. He was humbled a bit.
Yeah.
He's still ambitious, which you have to be in a certain way. But, yeah. Now, did the last episode show them, like, discussing ideas? I'm having a vague memory where he and Zoey sat down. He was like, I did have this idea. And now, he didn't describe it. I think it kind of cut to mute with them, like, describing things in her office and discussing.
I can't remember.
Okay.
But you say the employees are pissed about her choice.
Because I couldn't remember their freaking names.
But, Tobin and
Mackenzie.
They
have they're ranting about it.
Yeah. And cut to Mag's house. Mag and Deb are discussing working out because Mag just got one of the...
Was that the scene where No, that was just the other employees are, like, kind of grumbling about it. That wasn't the cut to them having to work on the weekend thing.
No.
Okay.
Well, Zoe's like, okay, we got to get this off the ground in 4 days because we're presenting on Monday.
Right.
So Megs and Deb are discussing working out, and Megs, Deb brings up Megs going to the casino alone because the one dealer, the card dealer, Fred, who looks really familiar to me, texted Deb about it.
Just keeping tabs.
Yeah. At Maximo's, Max and Rose discuss decorations. Well, it's more the article.
It was a review.
Like, it's a concept that shouldn't work, but it does, and it was very complimentary, and, where do you want to put it? And, oh, you're the art curator, I'll let you decide where to put it until Mo decides to move it. She's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Simon and Zoey are there discussing their weekend. Simon wants to go with Max and Rose on a fun run thing. And Zoey's like, oh, okay, yeah.
My reaction.
And then she's like, this plan can suck my title sequence.
Cut to the typical...
Yeah.
Cut out the swear word.
So Zoey goes to Mo for ankle weights. Perry's there. Mo discusses being okay with Perry's friendship with his ex.
Adulting.
Then Zoey hears musical number, Perry singing Unwell by Matchbox 20. Dude's voice is like warm honey, I'm just saying.
I mean, it is.
Yes. Zoey stops him to ask for help with her oven just to get a moment with him. Perry's just nervous. She says she'll be there. She can act as a buffer.
Nervous for Mo and
Brad to meet, yeah. His ex.
It's like they're both big personalities.
Yeah. Meanwhile, with Max and Rose, they're picking out a costume. Rose has news. She shared a review on social media, and an investor offered to help them start a pop-up in New York. Meanwhile, Tobin and Mackenzie make out over anger about the drone phone, which is fun.
Just kind of a random cutaway scene.
Yeah.
Just world building a bit. And also they're picking out a costume because it's like a dress-up fun run.
Yeah. So at the fun run, everyone's dressed up. Zoey went with static electricity.
Simon was Prince. I didn't catch the other two.
David and Victoria Beckham, I think. I'm trying to think if there's any significance to Zoe's costume. The closest I can come, and it's a little bit of a stretch, is Oh. She's clinging. But she also gets stuck with all these emotions from hearing other people. I don't know. It's weak, but there might be something there.
I like it.
But she questions the fun of fun runs, which leads to a musical number. Simon and Rose are leading everyone else in this rendition, amazing rendition of Don't Stop Me Now by Queen.
It was
awesome and awesome costumes.
Yes, it freaking kicked ass. And the costumes, by the way, were awesome too. There was like 4 people dressed up as a roller coaster.
There's a traffic jam.
Yeah. Saw some beekeepers in there, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. But Max is the only one not singing. And so he calls him out on it. And he says, I hate costumes. You know, growing up with a dentist as a father, Halloween was just a nightmare.
Can confirm dentists in the neighborhood where you're trick-or-treating sucks. They do indeed give away toothbrushes and toothpaste. It's a thing.
The race starts. Someone starts running, pushes Zoey out of the way. Move, trash! Simon, she's static electricity! Lulz. So after the run, it's boost time. Apparently Zoey fell. Simon expresses gratitude. Rose asks about their weird past. Then Brad arrives and asks Mo about pronouns. And it was awkward, but at the same time, Mo dealt with it really well.
Yeah, Mo was like,
Thank you
for asking.
Yeah, I go by he or him, but I'm also open to she, her, them, their. But thank you for asking.
Right.
Perry's eyes to Zoey. Help.
Yeah, so he goes back to the table with Mo and Brad, and he just looks at Zoey and he's like,
help me. So Zoey's like, give me a minute. So she goes and introduces herself. Mo and Brad bond over making fun of Zoey. And Perry offers his thanks. Meanwhile, Max is at the casino, bonding with people like their old friends. Deb arrives. She said, I thought you were going to call me next time you were going day gambling. And she's concerned. You can see she's concerned about Maggie. And Maggie gets defensive. Back at Maximo, Simon's favorite is Moscow Mules. Nice. Well, I think it was the tequila one. But Mexico Mule.
oh, really?
Mezcal Mule.
Oh.
She said that later to like, do you want another Mezcal Mule? And he's like,
I'd like to taste my first one, actually,
Yeah.
honey.
Simon and Rose argue about East Coast versus West Coast. They ask Max, and Max is conflicted, and then he breaks into a musical number, New York State of Mind by Billy Joel. Zoe's obviously reading between the lines. Time is frozen during this musical number.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. A lot of times you see people carrying on conversations, everything like that. But with this one, time was frozen because they had just asked him a question. And he feels all the emotions at once before he answers. But you can't have time passing in the background because otherwise it would be apparent that he was just sitting there awkwardly doing nothing for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was a nice detail that time freezes when it's appropriate with this whole song power thing.
Yeah. Max admits that he's thinking of going to New York for a while, and Zoey gets a bit aggressive asking about it. But a Maximo crisis pulls Max away. Zoey asks Simon if he wants to keep drinking, and that was a very tense moment. Then we have Zoey trying to ask Mo about the pop-up. Mo's all... Oh, yeah. Zoey asks Mo about the pop-up, and he's all for it. But Mo is also concerned with his thing. Perry is quiet, asks Zoey to check on them. Meanwhile, at Spark Point, Leaf apologizes to Tobin.
For
for going behind their back about it.
Yeah, because, megaphone versus microphone was like the big debate, and Leaf comes in and presents privately.
Yeah, but and they're doing this in Zoe's office, and it's the weekend, they're working, blah, blah, blah. So then Tobin's like, no, this is great because, Mackenzie and I hooked up, and Leaf is like, oh, really? And they're like, do you want to lock arms and jump up and down? And he's like, yeah. So they do that, and then they're like, Tobin's like, I just realized that this is in front of open windows. Like, there's...
This office is all windows.
So then Leaf tells Tobin to take off. And they never circled back to that, but at the time I was a little suspicious of it. So I wonder if that's going to come back.
Yeah.
Like, if he's going to throw them under the bus or something.
It was a little bit of a weird thing to end that scene and that storyline for this episode on. He's like, you know what, you guys take the weekend off, have fun. It's like, really? Yeah, come on, get out of here. You want to believe it's just no, good for you, man. Go enjoy your weekend with your lady. But it's Leaf, so
all that stuff we were saying about him, growing, but is there still...
Right. And we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll take it at face value for now.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
And Tobin drops a line which he didn't mention in the notes, which is fine because there's a lot going on, but Tobin said something to the effect of, I can't wait until this office is yours, or something like that, which, again, kind of a throwaway thing, but just kind of goes to show that there's still not a whole lot of confidence in Zoey as a leader.
Sure. And Tobin's had some good moments with Zoey.
Yeah. But, I mean, that could just be like a bro thing, like...
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that Zoey is going to fail, but that... I mean, it could be
Leaf
like...
is going to be moving up.
Yeah, it doesn't necessitate Zoey failing per se, but you do kind of get that feel of subterfuge.
And I wonder if it's not so much a Tobin and the gang don't have confidence in Zoey, so much as just a throwaway line from Tobin, but a trigger for Leaf. Where Leaf is going to be like, maybe it's going to be... And maybe did that inform him telling Tobin to take off for the weekend? I can't remember which line came first.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but yeah, there's something there.
There's a reason they said it, and I don't know what it is yet.
Well, and when Tobin first came into the office, like there was it was a line. It could be a throwaway line.
This isn't your office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back at Maximo, Zoey goes back to, talk to vet out like the whole Brad Perry thing, but she screws up. She lets Brad know Perry thought that Perry and Mo wouldn't like each other. Brad argues to Perry that they're basically the same person. That Brad and Mo are the same.
We have the same likes. We like.
Yeah.
We even have the same Helmsworth list.
Ha. And Perry has this moment of, okay, and Brad's like, I'm gonna go get a refill, and Zoey, she's like, I'm so sorry, I messed up, and he's like, no, it's not you. The problem is me, and she's like, is there anything I can do? He's like, no. And I like that he didn't, like, turn on her.
Yeah.
Because it was clearly just it was him coming to terms with his own issues. But at the end of the day, I think that he needed Zoey to bring that to light.
Fair. I mean, it was a faux pas, but it would have been a slow burn.
Yeah.
It needed to come out.
Yeah. But Zoey is working overtime to appease Simon while also interrogating Max. And about the whole New York thing, and she gets really intense and emotional about it. Rose is not comfortable with all of that. She's like, I need to go get some air. Max asks what that was all about, and Simon sits hungry and despondent.
Yeah. Zoey had a little too much wine.
I don't even think it was that so much. She was just
really intense about it.
Yeah. So in therapy, she describes how the weekend went. She doesn't want to talk about it. But she suggests it's about her still having feelings. Because the therapist is like, well, oh, are you saying I, still have feelings for Max, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, it's more about your loss. Like, you just lost your father.
You lost your mentor.
And now your best friend. And that made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree with the therapist that that's, at the root, that's what it's about. Because they've been doing a really good job of not making their prior relationship a thing.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Okay.
Well, and the fact that that was the first thing that she thought of.
Which could be indicative, but it could also be, like, her speaking for the audience, like...
Well, this is clearly what it's about.
Must be what it's about. Like, no, it's... Like, getting ahead of the game. Like, this is what you're going to think, but it's not. But the fact that she's the one that suggested it means maybe it is.
It could go either way.
It could go either way. And she's, in a constant state of being confused about her own feelings. So she doesn't know. But he suggests to her that it's about loss. She's like, oh.
Okay, sure. We'll go with that.
Well, and that can be a thing. Like... You can feel emotional that this person is potentially leaving your life and be upset about it, and you're like, why do I feel this way? And not actually be able to know. It's kind of like the coin flip thing. You say, if you're not sure about something, flip a coin. And you'll realize in the air which way you want the coin to land.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that could be indicative that she does still have feelings for him.
Well, of course she does.
I mean, of course she does. Because the way they ended it wasn't in a I don't have feelings for you anymore kind of way.
Right.
So.
And then they both immediately jumped into other relationships. And I've really appreciated how they've been mature about it.
But
there is still going to be conflict.
Yeah, and her not wanting to lose him on a friend level or any other level is fair. It's a fair assessment. Okay, I still have feelings for him, but he is still my friend, and whatever he is, now he's leaving. I'm upset about that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily matter if she has feelings for him or not. She doesn't want him to leave. Not that it's her decision and blah, 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 but...
Sure. We cut to a conversation with Deb and Meg. Deb was spying on Maggie. Deb's, you said ex, but her late husband had a gambling problem. She doesn't want to lead Meg down that path. And I thought it was such a great scene because she's like, because Deb said, I would feel terrible if I opened the floodgates for you by taking you to the casino. Because I know you're not that kind of person, but I didn't think my husband was either.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really well done. And, Maggie being accepting of that and understanding that. And it's like, well, but here's what you don't know.
That whole scene was fantastic, and I'll let you finish before I finish my thought.
So Meg says that she was gambling with her paychecks from Roger, the asshole that creeped on her.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. All right.
Yeah, you don't want... she called it blood money. Or dirty money. She doesn't want that money.
Yeah. So I'm just going to get rid of it.
I'll just go gamble it away.
But it backfired, and she won a boatload of fucking money.
Which is just hilarious.
So Deb said, it's a sign to do something with this money. But you wanted to say something else.
Just that I'm really glad... I may have made a note about this later, I don't know, but they set up this gambling addiction thing, and the show did it in a very television show way where she's gambling alone, and in the show, the episode ends on that, and it's like, oh, she has a gambling addiction. Mm-hmm. And they totally subvert it, and I love that they're not making that a thing, because
because it doesn't need more drama.
It doesn't need that, and I didn't want that.
But I like that they made you think that they could go there.
I do too. Because, it keeps the show interesting and everything without actually adding this drama. That's just like...
And that's very fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. Most shows would just let it go down that path and, hey, here's something we can make a few episodes out of. No, that would suck and not be pleasant to watch.
And that's one of the reasons why I really like this show. Everything about it is just, it's fresh. It's not the same old drama. And the drama that does come up is acknowledged. But then it
feels real. It's not manufactured.
Yeah.
And it doesn't last an exorbitant amount of time. They bring up the drama, and it's dealt with in an adult way in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah. From
the breakup to the Maggie thing, even to Mitch's passing.
And Emily's postpartum.
Yeah. It's all brought up, which is great.
Yeah.
But they don't
get the emotional kickback from it. But, yeah, you're not sitting there like, okay, what's going to happen next? Like...
Oh, gosh, it's another Emily scene. Let's all prepare to be depressed. No. They deal with it, and then they move on.
Yeah. Which, I mean, with the Emily thing, it's not that simple. But I think it's good for the show that they didn't focus on Emily and David at all.
Exactly. They're not sweeping it under the rug. They weren't in this episode.
They're dealing.
They're dealing.
And you don't have to see that.
Right. You need to address it. And they did. And then the married couple can deal with the postpartum issue on their own. It would feel cheap for them to just have episode after episode of cutting to them crying together.
Yeah.
I don't want to be callous about it, but shows are an entertainment value or venue.
Yeah.
And once you address it, and you should address it, that's great. And we don't need to see every blood, sweat, and tear dog.
Yes. So we cut to Simon's. Zoey comes bearing dumplings that he didn't get with the Moe's malfunction.
I feel that.
Maximo's malfunction. She apologizes, and Simon says she still has feelings about Max and everything. She denies it. But the thing is, and he cut her off. And that bothers me because she was like, my therapist said, and he's like, no, if you still have feelings. She's like, no. But she didn't get to actually finish what she was saying. Was, it's about loss.
Which he would have actually identified with if she had finished her sentence.
Right. So Simon says he believes her, but then he breaks into the musical number Suspicious Minds by Elvis, which I always equate with Lilo and Stitch because it's just a fantastic movie. Zoey cuts off the song, which is apparently a thing she can do. She asks him for a glass of wine. Oh, okay. And awkwardness, but...
A little bit, but
then
it was just
cuts.
weird that mid-song she just was like, hey, Simon! And he just ends.
Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe she's done that before, I'm not sure, but...
Yeah, I don't know. So she goes back to her mom's house and sees the pile of money. Then there's a musical number with Deb and Meg, If I Was a Rich Girl. Na 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 na. Meg wants to give some money to Miles, the grandson, and she also wants to fix the roof. Nice to have a levity song. Really glad they're not making a thing of the whole gambling thing.
Yeah, you can see Zoey just kind of smiling and enjoying the musical number. Just like, this is a good problem to have.
Yes. So they ultimately decide a third of the money will go to Miles. A third will go to fixing the roof. Oh, and that's something else that I noticed that I hadn't actually seen before. So you had said that during Max's number, time stopped.
Yeah.
After the If I Was a Rich Girl thing, Meg was immediately back into the rod,
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I thought that was interesting because I don't think we've seen that either.
Yeah, it was a mid-sentence musical sequence, and she finished the sentence after the musical sequence. I'm glad you mentioned that. I caught that too, but I didn't make a note of it.
Yeah. They're
really playing with the
timing.
The timing of it, which is real cool.
Mm-hmm. So Zoey tells her she should cut loose with the money just a little, so...
Because from the song, it's clear they want to.
Yeah. So they said, okay, so we'll do this much, a third to Miles, a third to fixing the roof, and a third to going on a cruise. I will say, though, I'm a little concerned about Deb's intentions.
A little bit.
You can, she sees this money and her eyes just light up, and, the song is If I Was a Rich Girl. And
yes.
So there's,
Yes, but fixing the roof was Deb's suggestion.
No, that was Mag's.
I feel like I'm right about this. Mags wanted to donate to the animal shelter and donate to Miles. And Deb was the one telling her to fix the roof. Because I had the same concern until they came out of the musical sequence and she said that.
Nice shot of the nostrils there. Hey, hold that.
Yes, I can do that. Which allayed my fears, because I had the same concern until that. We're gonna play the clip here. If I had any editing experience, I would, cut it in, but I'm not gonna do that.
Mom's winnings from the casino. Wait, you won this? How? Well, I had a hot streak. And now I'm trying to figure out what to do with all of this. I'm thinking that I'll give some of it to Miles. I'll give some of it to pet shelters that are in the area.
Yeah, your mom's dead set on doing something responsible with this gift from above. And I, for one, say replacing the garage roof, the way to go.
It leaks every time it rains.
That was sarcastic. Because she immediately is like, it leaked. Like, she's justifying it.
You're pooping on my interpretation. She didn't say anything about
That was the
anything.
conversation that they had off screen. And so she was like, oh, and the roof. And Maggie's like, it leaks. And then they cut to the song and then cut back to Maggie continuing her justification for using the money for the roof.
Plus, I've noticed that there's
Set on doing something responsible with this gift from above. And I, for one, say replacing the garage roof, the way to go.
it leaks.
Like, it leaks. Like, oh yeah, replacing the garage roof is the way to go. It leaks. Like, why would she say that if that wasn't her idea to begin with? I am right.
My claim was that it was Deb's suggestion, and the video proves it.
She was saying it sarcastically.
I didn't hear you say that.
I am so right now. Like, you have no fucking idea. I am right. She was saying it sarcastically. Because why else would Maggie come in all defensively saying, it leaks, blah, 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 wood rot, etc., etc. She's trying to plead her case for using the money for the roof of the garage. I know this because that's what I do.
That sarcastic comment makes no sense coming from Deb, though.
Wait, what?
And I, for one, think that fixing the roof is the way to go. That comment makes no sense.
She's making fun of Maggie for, like, oh, you're going to use all this money to fix your roof of your garage? Are you serious right now?
Are they serious that they can split this 3 ways and fix a roof with a third of the winnings?
A garage roof, not an entire roof.
Still fucking expensive.
Well, $5,000. She's got a load of cash. I am right, and I will die on this hill.
Or you'll wait for the next, 2 episodes.
No, because she's the one that's, pushing for extravagance, and she's already got, the cruise at the top of her mind. She was making fun of Maggie for wanting to use the money for the roof.
We'll see.
I'm a woman. I know how women talk. That was sarcasm. It was. 100%.
Thank you,
I am
American
so
Graffiti.
right. I am right.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it's a good thing you just, whatever. So they agreed to do the next third for a cruise.
Right.
So Zoey goes to Moe's.
So.
At Moe's. I'm sorry, no.
Oh, yeah.
At Moe's apartment. They're about to play a movie, but Perry is like, no, I've gotta say something first. He wants to talk.
Yeah.
He's struggling with appearing as straight because Mo looks like a girl. Which, you know me, I'm like this whole transgender gay movement thing, whatever. I'm like, I'm not on board, but Perry pissed me off in this scene.
Really? Because Mo pissed me off in this scene.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Because we're both on the same page as far as how we feel about all that.
Right. I'm like, okay, if you aren't openly, like, because Perry basically says, like, I've always been basically the manly man, deep voice, and played football, and I've literally fought fires, and, you know, when I came out as gay, my family, you know, understood and whatever. And now he's got a problem with the fact that the guy that he likes dresses like a girl, and he's worried about how people will see him. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. Commit. Alright? You like this guy. You like Mo. But what, you have an issue with how Mo dresses? I mean, that you knew that going in. So to pull this, I'm afraid how other people will see me bullshit, I don't think that's the case.
So
I think as much as he likes Mo, he doesn't like that Mo dresses like a girl.
Maybe he's secretly straight.
But clearly he's not. Because if he were secretly straight, Mo dressing like a girl wouldn't bother him. They're kind of doing the extreme opposite of what I thought they were going to do, insofar as I thought that Perry was going to be straight and then find out that Mo, this person he thought was a girl, was actually a guy, and that was going to be an issue.
Right.
But no, now they're completely turning the tables.
Yeah, which is weird because it's like a character turn for Perry. But Mo being he was like, this is why I'm distant. This is what I'm struggling with right now. And Mo saying, thank you for sharing your truth with me. You're asking me to do this. He's like, no, I'm not.
Fair.
That's what bothered me.
Okay, fair. And you bringing that up, I mean, that
it's the whole, if I share what I'm feeling, am I asking you to do something different? Conundrum. And it is a conundrum. It's common in many relationships.
I mean, we kind of saw that with the end of Zoey and Max's relationship, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Zoey could control.
Right. But she's trying to be open and honest. And I won't even say it backfired. It bothered the other person. I think this is a similar thing.
Okay. Let's just agree that they were both assholes in that situation.
And as I was getting my martini ready and thinking about how I felt about that scene, I was like, I'm putting way too much thought into this. because they're both morally wrong.
But, you know,
And I don't.
these are the cards we're dealt when we watch shows. So.
Right. And at the end of the day, I don't need to have an opinion on it because they're fictional, and were these people in real life, I would believe them to both be engaging in things that I believe are morally wrong, and I don't have to commit any emotion to this. But that's where I was coming from.
Fair. That's fair.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think they're
That
both.
conclusion.
I think they're both wrong.
Yeah.
I think Perry, no matter what he says, oh, I don't want you to change. Like the fact that he's like not comfortable with Mo being womanly. Well, you got into this relationship knowing that.
Right. And that's the conversation I had in my head where I was like, I was pissed off at Mo, and then I was like, I mean, you were attracted to Mo as Mo is. So what the hell? Like, if it were a straight relationship, and I was attracted to you because you did the punk makeup, and then I was like, I really don't like that you do the punk makeup, that wouldn't make any sense at all.
And that's the same kind of thing.
It really is. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And that's where I'm coming from, too. It's like...
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You're all wrong at the end of the day, but... So then at Maximo's, Zoe apologizes to Max. She says she'll celebrate him as a friend. Max says we can't keep doing this, asks for space. She says, I guess New York came at the right time then, if you decide to go. And then we end on like a little epilogue sort of, or, you know, Max kind of doing a little New York state of mind refrain, and then cut to black. And I was thinking about this earlier, and it's like, I feel Zoe so hard because she's trying. You know, she's got all these emotions from other people coming at her. She's trying to do that. She's trying to navigate a new relationship. She wants to have her best friend in her life still, and now he's telling her we can't keep doing this, and I just feel her so hard.
Sure. And, you know, we're getting all the emotional weight from one character. Because I understand where Max is coming from. I do. Like, I feel for Zoe and I feel for Max. It's just a bad situation. In a way. You know, Zoe doesn't want her friend to leave. Max was just was just suggested to by his current girlfriend to move to New York. It sucks. I mean, I as somebody who moved here, yeah, there were conflicting feelings and people feeling not betrayed, but sad. And you're allowed to feel that, but things happen.
And I mean, it
There are
sucks
no
because
bad
we can't
guys.
we can't go to the big family graduation party. We can't do your mom's birthday party.
Yeah.
Because we have to save up our time to go to Dan's wedding.
Yeah.
And thank you for making that sacrifice. Thank you for coming here and building a home here.
Don't have to thank me. It was... I'm not going to say it was a hard decision. 'Cause it wasn't. It was the decision. But yeah, there was sadness. It's life. Yeah, the show does a good job of portraying that. But there's no good guys and bad guys in it. It's just how it is. We live in a world where, with instant communication and travel, sometimes you get called away, and it's the right thing for you. And it's sad, but that's it. It's not a betrayal. It's not choosing one person over another. It's just what has to be.
Oh, that was almost an hour.
Holy cats. All right. I think that's it.
Yep.
Till the next one.